race 6.
My name's Simon Evans. I'm from the north of England, from the county of Lancashire, in a town called Nelson. I was born in Nelson in 1970, and I lived there until the age of 18 when I went to university. And my parents both are from Lancashire. My mother was born in Nelson. My father's from a town called Bacup, which is about 10-15 miles away, which doesn't seem far, but in that part of the world, 10-15 miles away is another part of the world altogether. And I have a brother called Bryn, which is a Welsh name. My family name is Evans, which is also a Welsh name, and on my father's side, my family are historically Welsh. Bryn means hill in Welsh. My middle name is Gareth, which is a popular Welsh name. I went to school there. I was always very interested in sport, played a lot of sport. Played cricket for a semi-professional club and played football. And then when I was 18, well, when I was 16, I left school. And the education system in England, it's not sure you know what you're going to do. You finish the exams in June, and then you start college or university in September. I didn't know. You don't get the exam results until July. So I worked in a bakery, baking bread every morning at 4 o'clock in the morning. That was a tough job, getting up at that. And it was such a horrible, badly paid job, about £1 an hour, that was the incentive for me to get some education. So I went to college and I studied British politics and government, sociology and English literature, and I was successful enough to get to Newcastle University. I lived in Newcastle for 3 years and studied politics. Had a great time. It's a lovely city, it's Newcastle. 3 years there. Accent is very difficult to pick up. If you hear a Newcastle accent, it really took me a good few weeks before I could start to understand what the people were saying. So I had a good time in Newcastle, played football, got very involved in politics. I was a candidate for the president of the student union for the Labour Party. And when I finished university, I went back home to my hometown, and I was active in the Labour Party, working on the general election campaign. And then I worked for the local council as a sports coordinator, organising sports activities for children and unemployed people and so on, which was great fun. I had a really good time doing that. But I'd always wanted to be a journalist. I've been involved in the student newspapers and involved in different things, and I always wanted to be a journalist. And I tried to get a job on a newspaper. I worked writing advertising copy, which isn't the same thing at all, and selling advertising, hoping that there would be a chance to get in the editorial department of the newspaper. Didn't really work out how I wanted it to do, so I thought, okay, I'm going to do something different. And I was at DJing. I used to DJ. I was DJing at a 21st birthday party for a guy who spoke Hungarian, who studied Hungarian, and who was going out here to work in Hungary. And he told me about Hungary, and I thought, okay, I'm going to give it a try. So I came out to Hungary, and I got a job pretty quickly working for Budapest Week, which is an English language newspaper, just about still, and was a pretty good English language newspaper at that time. And I had a great time there, worked there for 2 years. While I was doing that, I was freelancing for different newspapers, mostly sports, playing football. I played football for MÁV Budapest, I played football for Kinoyin, and I had a trial with Vasas Sports Club, which wasn't successful, because I'm not a professional footballer. And I started to do more and more work with sports and so on, and I'm writing a book about sport at the moment. It's a travel guide for football fans. I travelled all over Europe, to Spain, Italy, Portugal, Germany, Holland, everywhere, meeting fans, talking about football and the fan culture. I'm involved in the football here. I do some work here at Hungarian Radio. I have a sports show, and I also write for Nemzeti Sport. And I still play football for a team called Hunyadi, which is a young team. Until the new law that's just been passed by the Hungarian Football Federation, which will ban foreigners from playing in the lower divisions, the lower leagues, which is a very bad rule, and I'm very angry about it. And I'm going to write a letter to UEFA and make sure that something happens about it, because I think it's a terrible discrimination at such a level of football. It's not important what nationality people are, I think. Apart from that, I've been living here now for 3 years, and I'm getting married in September to Gabriella, and it's going to be very interesting to have a Hungarian wedding. There should be friends from England coming over, and friends here, and so my parents and family will be coming, so this is going to be a big change in my life situation. I think I'm going to be living in Hungary for quite a while now, which is not a problem because I really like it here most of the time. I live in Angelford. I like Angelford. It's a good working class district, and I've always lived in working class districts, so I like to be in that kind of area. Before Angelford, I used to live in Újpest and Rákospalota, and enjoyed it in Rákospalota. I lived in a house with a lady called Piroshka Neni, who was a very kind old lady who was the first person who started ever to speak to me in Hungarian. I didn't understand anything, and it's a really nice feeling now, 3 years later, to go and talk to Piroshka Neni in Hungarian. I don't speak so perfectly the language, but I haven't learnt it from school, but I've learnt it from the football fields, from the terraces, from the pubs, and I'm really enjoying it because I don't speak French or German. I didn't learn very well at school the languages, so it's a great experience for me now to be able to speak a language, and I enjoy it a lot.